If you want to start making videos, all you really need is your smartphone. But honestly, most people are using their phones wrong when it comes to creating content. For example, they film with the wrong lighting or really messy backgrounds or shaky footage and poor audio. And then they wonder why their videos just don't look good. But what if I told you that with just a few simple steps, you can go from creating low quality content that you're maybe a little bit embarrassed of to high quality looking videos with still just using your smartphone?
You gotta just press record.
Okay, so the first step is choosing your background. You can also call this, if you want to be really formal, it's called location scouting. And the easiest way to do this, honestly, is to grab your phone and turn on the selfie camera and then just walk around your house to find a room or an angle that is the best option for your filming situation. Sometimes this can be a really clean background with minimal decorations or minimal distractions. That can look best sometimes, or you could try to find a corner with more stuff going on. Maybe there's a picture frame on the wall or some props or something in the background. Either way though, I want you to make sure that you're being intentional about your background decision and you just don't make a decision by default. Here's a quick example of a background that's just a little bit too busy. There's too much going on in this scene and it's just a little bit distracting. Another option that I also don't think is ideal is putting yourself in front of a window and positioning the camera so that it's actually facing that window. Now, an example of a little bit of a better background would be something like this. So I'm in my studio space. I found a corner that's pretty minimal. It's just kind of like a desk set up behind me that's fairly clean. It's not too distracting, and I can put something here on the computer screen to add some interest. But overall, the focus is on me, and my background is just a nice, simple background that isn't too distracting. So now that we have our background selected, the next thing that we would want to do is set up our equipment that we're going to use to record. So this involves your phone and any other equipment you need for your recording session. And a little abbreviation we like to use here to remember what tech we need for recording is AVLS. It stands for Audio, Video, Lighting, and Stabilization. Now with this acronym, we already have the video aspect taken care of because we are using our phone to record video, but we need to touch on the audio, lighting, and stabilization pieces to round out our equipment for this setup. Now in terms of audio, you can use the built-in microphone on your smartphone, and nowadays these newer smartphones honestly have really good microphones that sound pretty good. But typically, you do want to be as close as you possibly can be to your microphone in order to get the best results. Otherwise, if you do want to kind of position the phone a little bit further away from you for a wider shot, then you are going to want to look at some sort of microphone solution that you could put maybe on your person, like a wireless microphone. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. I'm actually using for this entire video the most affordable microphone solution I have, which is this $50 microphone from Boya called the Boya Mini. And it actually sounds really good and is very affordable. One of the things I love about wireless microphone systems are that it allows you the ability and the freedom to move around your scene a little bit more and not be so tied down to one specific location. So if I was just going to have one microphone for recording YouTube videos, it would probably be some sort of wireless mic system. And this is the cheapest option and entry point that you could look at. Or you could look at something a little bit more expensive, like the Hollyland Lark M2 is amazing, or the DJI Mic Mini. Both of those are great options as well. For reference, this is what the built-in microphone sounds like if I were to record in this exact same situation with my iPhone and I'm not using a wireless mic. As you can tell, it sounds a whole lot worse than using something even as simple as the Boya Mini. Now that audio is taken care of, the next thing you want to think about is lighting. And you really have two options here. You could try to position yourself in front of a window so that you have the most natural light hitting your skin, which is going to create an actually pretty pleasing result. And then you don't have to worry about setting up lighting. Now, unfortunately, my studio space does not have the best natural lighting, so I have to set up a key light, which is just a nice bright light that I can use to light myself to make sure my image looks better. And that light is from Amaran. It's the 60D with one of their soft boxes. And this is a beautiful light, but it's a little bit more expensive. So if you want something more affordable, you could look at this super budget, nice VD 2-pack video panel lights that are only about $50. You get a couple of them and all the light stands included as well. So there's a lot of options out there, but ideally if you want your smartphone video quality to look good, you need some good lighting so that your camera sensor doesn't try to compensate for the lack of low light, and that's when things look pretty grainy. And then that last part of the acronym is the S for stabilization. So ideally, maybe you want to grab like a phone tripod, and we'll link some affordable options in this video down in the description below. Or you could grab a gimbal if you're doing a lot of handheld gimbal work. One of our favorites is the DJI Osmo Mobile 7P. It's a great little gimbal, so we'll link some options down in the description below, but you've got to make sure you have a way to stabilize your video footage so it's not all jittery and shaky. Another question you might have is, how do I frame up my shot? Like, how do I know a shot actually looks properly composed? Well, something we like to use is what's called the rule of thirds, and then allow yourself to be on the top third. So my eyes right now in my frame, you can see I show these like guidelines. There's thirds on the left and the right here that I'll highlight, and then there's thirds on the top and the bottom. So typically you want your eye line in your head to be positioned at that top third and not have too much headroom that looks kind of awkward, or not enough headroom as well where you're cutting off your head. So ideally, position yourself right in the center of the frame for your A roll, and then on the top third as well. That's going to be a good composition. So now that you have all of your tech set up, it's time to dial in your phone settings to make sure you're actually shooting in the right settings to upload to something like YouTube or different social media platforms. So the first thing you want to make sure you're doing though is that you're using the rear cameras of your smartphone. So nowadays, most phones have multiple cameras. Like I'm actually recording on the iPhone 16 Pro right now, and it has 3 cameras on the back as well as 1 camera on the front. That's that kind of selfie camera. But traditionally, the cameras on the front are way worse qualities than your rear-facing cameras. So when you can, try to shoot with that rear-facing camera, and it usually will also open up your camera to better resolutions and frame rates if you shoot with those rear cameras. In terms of video resolution, which is the size of your video frame and the amount of pixels that you're recording, we highly encourage you, if you can, to shoot in 4K resolution at either 24 frames or 30 frames per second. So 24 frames is what we'd recommend for most long form videos. 30 frames is great as well, or especially if you're shooting vertical content for social platforms like Instagram or TikTok, 30 frames per second can be a little bit better for those kinds of platforms. But honestly, either way, 24 or 30 FPS is going to work just fine. Now, if you are shooting B-roll, which is supplemental footage that you're going to put on top of your talking head A-roll footage to sort of reinforce what you're talking about in your video, you can increase your frame rate to something like 60 frames per second or 120 frames per second, even if your phone supports that. And that's going to allow you the ability to slow your footage down in post-production to get really slow motion footage. If you try to like slow 24 frames per second or 30 frames per second footage down, there's not going to be enough frames there in order to be able to slow the footage down, and your footage will look super jittery. It's just not going to look good. So you do need to increase your frame rate if you want to slow your footage down later. Really quickly, some other settings you might want to check out in your smartphone. Specifically, if you have an iPhone, I'll show you a few here. The first would be HDR video. I'd actually turn this off because it gets kind of confusing to convert footage from HDR to a standard color space. And if you're editing in like DaVinci Resolve or Premiere or iMovie, all of these different editing programs are different in the way that they process HDR footage. So I would just turn it off, honestly. It's created a lot of headaches for me when I have shot iPhone footage in HDR and then tried to import it. So I definitely would keep this off. A couple settings I would turn on though would be lock white balance, and that's going to make sure that when you hit record on your footage, it's gonna lock the white balance based on whatever scene you're in, especially if you're in like a studio environment or you know your scene shouldn't really be changing lighting at all, turn this on. If you are a vlogger, however, you might wanna keep this off because if you're going from scene to scene, you do want your white balance to change. But for me in this set, in this environment, I did want to lock my white balance so it doesn't change at all. If you are shooting a lot of vlogs or B-roll footage, another setting you could turn on is enhanced stabilization. So this is gonna just obviously do what it says. It's gonna enhance the stabilization abilities so that footage is not gonna be as shaky when you're shooting handheld. So that brings us to step 4, which is it's now time to record your content. And this step is either maybe, depending on who you are, could be the most fun and exciting part of the process, or it could be the most stress-inducing and anxiety-inducing part of the process, and you hate seeing yourself on camera, and it stresses you out. I get that. I've actually been on both sides. But this is the part of the process where you gotta punch fear in the face and be okay with making mistakes and just hit record. So a few tips when it comes to recording your talking head footage. The first tip would be to research your topic idea beforehand so that you just feel more confident speaking candidly about your idea. So do a little bit of research, spend time figuring out what are a few bullet points you could write down. You could break your video into even a script, a full-fledged script if you want, or at the very least, just a couple little bullet points to help you stay on track for your recording process. Our second tip is to practice as much as you can before you actually hit record. So this is something that I'm always doing. Anytime I'm writing my scripts or my bullet points, I'm practicing and I'm delivering that content out loud while I'm writing it just to see how it sounds. And then once I hop into the chair to hit record, I will always practice the introduction and speak it out loud because it just kind of gets me into the flow of my recording session and makes things go way easier when it's time to hit record. And a third tip would be it's totally okay to mess up when you're recording your video. You can edit out all of those mistakes later, so don't feel like you need to get everything right in one take. And as a part of this series even, we're gonna teach you how to edit videos on your smartphone, so you can check for that video down in the description below. And our fifth and final step here is to review the footage before you import it into your computer or start editing, even if you're editing on your phone. One of the great things about having a smartphone to film with is you have a really nice high quality display and even set of speakers from your phone to review the content and make sure everything actually is looking and sounding good. So rather than completely breaking down your setup right after you're done recording, take that little extra few minutes to review that content and make sure, scrub through kind of the timeline of it and make sure everything sounds good and that you didn't miss any key beats or anything, or your white balance didn't change too much and all of a sudden you look really warm or you look really cold. So these are all things you can check right after your recording session to save you a lot of time later. Now, a few questions that you might be having. First would be, do you actually need to shoot in 4K footage or can you just shoot in 1080p? Well, it's totally fine to shoot in 1080p. What we do notice though here at Think Media is we see a distinct difference when we upload a video in 1080p versus 4K across devices. Whether you're watching on a television, computer screen, or mobile phone device, you can definitely see a difference between 4K and 1080p. So we encourage you, if you can, shoot it in 4K, but just know it's okay if you do need to bump that resolution down to 1080p. You might also ask yourself, well, Craig, I set up all my stuff and my footage just looks really grainy and it just doesn't look very good. Well, that's probably an issue with your lighting. So you need to increase the exposure of your room so that your phone's settings can adjust properly and not try to raise the ISO value. And that's what's happening. The ISO is introducing digital noise into your image, and it just makes your footage look a little bit grainy because it's trying to digitally raise the exposure instead of relying on a really nice key light or nice window light for that exposure. And finally, you might be wondering, can I actually just shoot and edit an entire YouTube video on my phone because I don't want to have to transfer my video files from my phone to a computer or something? Well, the answer is absolutely you can do that. And in fact, this video is a part of a series of videos where we're going to teach you how to create entire YouTube videos from your phone from start to finish and even upload them and package them, all of those things. So if you want to check out the next video, how to edit an entire YouTube video on your phone, you can click or tap the screen right there when it's available, and we'll see you in the next one.